All right, let's dive in. This isn't just any story. You could say it's the blueprint for the entire human condition. It's this epic saga of creation, a single choice and a decision that, well, literally changed everything. So we're going to break down this foundational story piece by piece to really get a handle on the world it shaped for all of us. And it all kicks off with this one powerful statement, right? In a world that's just bursting with new life, the creator looks down and sees a problem, a flaw. The whole thing isn't quite perfect yet because the first human is totally alone. And that feeling, that solitude, that's the engine that's going to drive this entire story forward. Okay, so that brings us to our first part, the first man's world. It's all about a world that's basically waiting for its final piece. Everything is pristine, perfect, untouched. But Adam is in it all by himself, and that's where this world-defining search is about to begin. So get this, the timeline here is super specific. We're on day 8, and on this day, the focus really narrows in. Adam's loneliness isn't just a passing thought anymore. It's now officially a problem that needs a solution. The creator steps in and basically declares a mission. I'm going to make a helper that's just right for him. And with that, the search is on. So for the next 5 days, just imagine this incredible parade of creation unfolding right in front of Adam. His job? He has to give every single creature its name, which is, a huge act of authority and understanding. But while he's doing this, he starts to notice something really important. They all have pairs, male and female. Every single creature has its match. So after this whole grand tour of the animal kingdom, the search comes up totally empty. There's just no one suitable for Adam. The world is full to the brim with life, but for him, it feels incredibly empty. See, his loneliness isn't just some feeling. The story frames it as this big cosmic imbalance that absolutely has to be fixed. All right, so the problem is clear, right? So now the story shifts gears to the solution, and it's a dramatic one. This next part is bone of my bones, the creation of a companion. And listen, this isn't just about making another creature. It's about crafting the perfect other half to finally complete the picture of what it means to be human. So check this out. On day 13, something truly wild happens. It's described as this divine, almost surgical operation. First, a supernatural deep sleep just completely overtakes Adam. Then, a rib is taken from his side. And from that very piece of him, the woman is formed. I mean, talk about a powerful, deliberate, and deeply personal way to create someone. And when Adam wakes up, his reaction is just pure awe. There's no confusion, no who are you moment. It's instant, profound recognition. He doesn't see a stranger at all. He sees a part of himself. He sees the answer he's been searching for, the companion he's been waiting for this whole time. You got to appreciate the incredible symmetry here. Think about it. Adam was made from the ground, right? But Eve, she was made from man. This whole act sets up the very first marriage, this idea of a union where two totally distinct people from different starting points are designed to become one flesh. Okay, so humanity is now complete. The picture is whole. And this kicks off a new phase, the laws of Eden. We're told this is a period of 7 years of peace and preparation. But this isn't just them kicking back and relaxing. It's a time for learning, for purpose, and for setting up the rules of the game for this perfect world. And this is where it gets really interesting. According to some of these ancient texts, these are the very first laws ever given to people. And they're all about these sacred timelines for purification specifically tied to birth. This whole thing establishes a pattern, a kind of rhythm of holiness that determines how and when you could enter the most sacred place on the planet, the Garden of Eden. So, following those rules we just talked about, Adam gets to enter the garden after his 40-day period is up. Eve comes in later after her 80 days are done. And what's their job? Pretty simple, really. Tend and care for this paradise. And their state of being, it's just perfect innocence. They're naked and they have absolutely no concept of shame. So in this world of what seems like total freedom, there's just one rule, one single don't. They can eat freely from every single tree except for one, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That's it. And that one simple command, as you can probably guess, is about to become the pivot point for the fate of the entire world. So, those 7 years of peace, they fly by. And then we come to a very, very specific date, year 8, month 2, day 17. This is it. This is the climax. The great deception. An antagonist is about to walk onto the stage, and the perfect piece of Eden is about to be completely shattered. And here he is, the serpent, described as more cunning than any other creature. He slides up to the woman, and his pitch, wow, it's a masterpiece of manipulation. He doesn't just say God's wrong. No, he twists everything. He says, you won't die. He suggests God knows that if you eat it, you'll become like gods. He's reframing the rule, not as a way to protect them, but as a way to hold them back. It's a direct shot at God's authority and his reasons. And it works. The appeal to wisdom, to being more, it lands. She looks at the tree, and suddenly it seems so desirable for gaining wisdom. And then she makes the choice. She takes the fruit, and she eats. And then, in this quiet, world-changing moment, she gives some to her husband, who is right there with her. And he eats. And just like that, it's done. The effect is immediate. Boom. Their eyes were opened. It's not this slow, gradual realization. It's like a switch flips. Instant. Their innocence is just gone. And what replaces it isn't some grand wisdom. It's a sudden, jarring awareness of their own vulnerability. Their first impulse? Shame. They immediately try to cover themselves up. And then, a voice echoes through the cool of the garden. It's not shouting in anger. It's a question. But a question that is so heavy with meaning. Where are you? The Creator is here. And that simple question just hangs in the air. It's not just about where they are physically, is it? It's about where they are spiritually. The confrontation has officially begun. Well, there's no hiding what's happened. The lies are exposed, the blame game is played, and the disobedience is out in the open. So now comes the reckoning. This is the price of knowledge, the divine judgment. It's time for everyone to face the music, to deal with the irreversible consequences of that one choice. And the judgment comes down in 3 distinct parts, and each one completely changes the nature of existence. First, the serpent. It's cursed to crawl on its belly, and there will be this eternal hostility between it and humanity. For the woman, childbirth will now be filled with pain. And for the man, the very ground he works is now cursed. His life's work, which used to be this joyful gardening, is now going to be painful toil and sweat. And then comes the final blow, banishment. They're cast out of Eden. Why? Because they can't be allowed to eat from the tree of life now, which would make their fallen state permanent, eternal. So they're driven out, and the gate is sealed behind them by cherubim and a flaming sword to guard the way back. The separation is now absolute and complete. And that brings us to the aftermath. The story doesn't just end with them walking out the gate. Not at all. A whole new, much harsher chapter is just beginning. This is the dawn of a new age, a world forever changed. Life outside the garden starts now. And a new order kicks in almost immediately. Adam makes his very first sacrifice, which sets up a whole new way of relating to God. And at the same time, a massive change happens with the rest of creation. The animals can no longer speak. That easy, innocent communion between all living things is officially over. And finally, they settle down in the land of Elda, the very place they were created, to begin the long, difficult story of humanity. So there you have it, the epic of the first fall. It's a story of innocence lost, a clever deception, and really the birth of human consciousness as we know it. They got what they wanted in a way, knowledge of good and evil, but they lost paradise to get it. Which leaves us all with this huge, lingering question. If knowledge has a price, was it worth it?